Okay, good evening and welcome to the Marshfield School Committee meeting for Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Could you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And you do need to call the roll.
Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Here.
Mr. Greer? Mr. Greer.
He's on mute.
Okay. And Ms. Brate?
Here. Awesome. Thank you everyone for being here. I will now accept a motion to open the public hearing on school choice.
Second.
Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Mrs. Brate?
Yes.
Mr. Greer?
Is that a yes? Mr. Greer, can you raise your hand? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone here in the public that would like to speak on school choice? Seeing none, I will accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Mrs. Brate?
Yes.
Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Great. Perfect. Okay, let's start with our spotlight on excellence. Amy McAlpine, come on up. Our superstar.
Thank you for having me. Just gonna pull this up here.
Amy received Educator of the Week last week. Got to go visit her. Amazing.
Well deserved.
Congratulations.
I mean, as you know, Amy got hired right around the time when we opened the new high school, so she was instrumental in getting the one-to-one going, getting campus up and running, and then she's just been doing amazing things ever since.
Awesome.
That's what you can see. I have my camera pointed. Okay.
Are you logged in?
Yeah.
I'm not. I can't disable it, so.
Disable
Yeah,
what?
try that.
That's as close as I'm gonna get.
I mean, you should have screen, but you have to disable
You want me to disable the share screen?
If you want, you could just share the presentation with Rich on his email, and he can
the.
Yeah.
follow
Oh,
along with it.
yeah.
Oh, it'll be quicker it is.
You know what, I have a tiny URL that I can type in for him in the chat.
Oh,
And I
perfect.
can pass those around, so it's going to be up here, but if anyone wants a paper copy.
Awesome.
Okay.
I would love paper.
Let me stop.
One over there.
Best laid plans. Thank you for your patience. So I'm here on behalf of the Digital Learning Lead Teacher Team. Unfortunately, no one from the team was able to join me, so hopefully I do them justice in representing them. But we wanted to just share a little bit about what this team is doing. So you can follow along. There's paper if you'd like it, if you want to scan for your own device, or I didn't mention paper, or just follow on the screen. So this is just a little quick strategy that kind of exemplifies what we're asking our lead teachers to do. So not anything big or glitzy, but how can we use the technology we have in our classrooms every day to enhance teaching and learning? And who better to do that than the people who are in the classrooms? So I'll share a little bit of where they fit into the bigger picture. We have what we're calling a three-pronged approach. There's an umbrella goal, which ultimately is to really support teachers and students in using the tools that we have in the classroom to enhance teaching and learning, using universal design. which just the 2-second pitch for that is providing multiple means for students to engage with content, to then be able to express their understanding, and kind of take advantage of what tools we have today to make that happen. So we have innovation specialists on our staff who work K-12 in various roles. And our lead teachers really round out that option of providing that peer support, because we know that teachers learn best from other teachers. And all of our specialists are teachers, but we're looking to these classroom teachers who can organically provide some experiences with their peers where they've had success and spread that at that classroom level. So these are the people on our team. They span 1st grade through 12th grade, elementary, middle, and high school. And while they are our stipended lead teachers, we have a lot of informal lead teachers throughout the district who are doing great things, who are sharing, and we're always looking to broaden that team as we move forward.
I did tell Amy to add her picture on that, but
I think we're seeing enough. So we have 6 goals for our team, and I'm going to run through the 6 goals and just share the evidence connected to those goals so you can see what we're doing. So the first one is to use our MPSD toolbox. So we are so fortunate in this district to have Chromebooks and iPads and a slew of applications at our fingertips. So we want people who are embracing the use of those, really finding the ways that they enhance teaching, student experience in the classroom. And I'm going to share with you a couple of examples. If you have the paper copy or you're looking up here, you'll see there are quotes sprinkled throughout. If you're on a device, you can listen to it, you can scan and listen. I will read some of them. But these 2 pieces up here talk about Jamboard, which is a virtual whiteboard that is part of a G Suite that we have access to. And these examples are great because you'll notice there's nothing here that's really saying this is how you use Jamboard. It's about this is the practice of what these tools allow us to do. So you can see there's an example that Lisa over at Amesway shared. She's using it for reading responses and to share what kids are doing in a visual way so that they can all see each other's work. That's the benefit of a Jamboard, is that there are multiple pages to it. And Erin over at South River, I highlighted in yellow, really gets at what's so powerful about this tool is that if I have a conversation in class, a few kids will raise their hand and I'll call on them and I'll hear them. If I have kids hold up whiteboards, we can quickly see what they maybe contributed. I can have kids go to the board and see a couple of kids. But by using Jamboard, every child has a space to share their thinking, and that thinking becomes visible to every other child in the classroom. And then there's that opportunity to go deeper and have those conversations about, oh, I saw you thought that, I thought the same thing, or I didn't think of it that way, could you tell me more about it? So it's really those little tweaks that we can see in the classroom that can change thinking and can change what we're able to do. And these are some more examples. Again, it's just a slide and it's just Canvas. And I say just, they're really exciting tools, but they're teachers using them in ways that reach their students, provide information, organization that makes the learning in the classroom more accessible and relevant for students. Any questions? So our second goal is to create universally designed content. So we want our lead teachers to spread the word about what they're trying, what they're doing. So you can see there are a couple of examples here. These are just some slideshows that some high school teachers did and shared. Really thinking about how can we use QR codes and links and Canvas to make the content more accessible to students so that they have options. Do they want a piece of paper? Do they want to see a video that they can get to through Canvas on a link? Do they want to use their phone and scan to be able to have something right next to them while they're working on a Chromebook or a paper at their seat? And you'll see there's links here to the full presentations if you're interested. But again, I just want to highlight a little bit of what they're doing. Some more examples. This quote is from Becca, who is a 4th grade teacher over at Martinson. And I won't read it, just paraphrase, but she talks about how in her role she's been able to help other teachers use the tools we have for organization that helps facilitate universal design in the classroom. So helping teachers kind of manage all these resources we have so they're right at their fingertips to be able to say, this will work for you now and this will work and I can pull this piece in, really changing what's happening in the classroom. So everyone doesn't have just that one handout or that one book. It's I have all these things and I know how to quickly pull them into the classroom. You can see there's a Twitter example here from Erin, who's at the high school, about using stations. Again, the whole class isn't always doing the same thing at the same time, and a lot of our technology tools let us do that, so kids can work in small group. Sometimes they're on a computer, sometimes they're on paper, but they're all working on, in this case, vocab development, but there's a lot of variability in how they're doing that. So again, kids are going a little bit deeper. The teacher is able to get around to more kids than if it were just her standing and everyone at their seats. Our third goal is to demonstrate and share practices at faculty meetings. Our wonderful administrative team has graciously agreed at the beginning of every faculty meeting to give 10 minutes to the lead teachers. So they stand up, there's no agenda of what they have to talk about. Again, we're encouraging them to say, this is something I just tried in my classroom this week, or I had success with this a few times. So they, at meetings, are sharing with their colleagues, here's something I tried, it worked really well, here's an example of it. And what they're finding is people will come up to them after and say, oh, that was a really good idea. I tried it, it didn't go so well. Do you have any tips? Or, hey, could I come see that? Or, could you show me how to do that? So it's getting a lot of, again, that organic traction of, if my neighbor next door can do this, I can try it too. And there's just some other examples here. Again, just to kind of show you the variety. On the left, it just looks like a digital document, and it is. Caroline Bacon, who's over at the middle school and teaches English, has found that kids really respond well to visual content. So she's used Canva, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's just an easy graphic design software. It makes things look pretty if you don't have that eye. But what she's found is she can make these great posters that she can hang in her classroom. She can have them digitally in Canvas for kids to reference, and they are taking advantage of that because they look so pretty and they're engaging. So again, it's just a little tip that she found has worked, and she's been able to share that with colleagues who are now saying, I can do this, and giving it a try to enhance what's happening in their class. This next piece, I just want to clarify, it says support ongoing planning and implementation of blended learning. Sometimes hybrid and blended learning get confused, and I know like hybrid is a bad word after the last couple of years. But what we mean by blended learning is taking digital tools and non-digital tools in the classroom and really blending their use in the physical classroom space to maximize what's happening in terms of teacher delivery of content and students being able to work with that and express what they know. I'm not going to play just this video just because I think with Zoom and the multiple speakers, but you have the code on there if you want to watch it. She talks about Jessica's at the high school, just her role as a leader and what she's been able to share. And I do have a couple of screenshots here to share from a presentation she shared about station rotation, which is a model that really lets teachers take advantage of the technology they have in the classroom, non-technology resources, and she's done a beautiful job of sharing with colleagues, this is how I lay it out, these are the expectations I have for my kids, it's timed, and you can see there's a full presentation she did here just to be able to say, like, through trial and error, this is what worked for me, and here, have a copy of this, you can edit it and modify it for your class and try it. The fifth goal is to facilitate 3 before or after school sessions. So each lead teacher has been asked to do that. There's a sampling here, and you can see there's a link to our full list of, again, topics are generated by our lead teachers. A lot of times they, through conversation with their colleagues in the hallways, the teacher's room, are picking topics that they're hearing other people ask questions about. And they've ranged from digital notebooks to stations to universal design to SEL, using Pear Deck to make slideshows interactive and address social emotional needs in the classroom. So they're really exciting topics, and we want to make sure that, again, we're giving teachers a voice to say, this is what's working really well, it's something that you can do too, and I can answer some questions for you. And here's, I just love this quote, I won't read the whole thing, but Caroline had said after a session, the teacher was really excited, but it reignited for her this interest in, oh yeah, I was doing that before, and as I got ready for this, I remembered how powerful this was, and I want to do more of it. So it's helping our lead teachers grow too, which is really exciting as well. And then the fifth goal is, the sixth goal, is really to just be reflective and look at this model and say, is this working? What can we do better? What are people getting out of it? And a quote, again, I won't read the whole thing, but Erin at the high school just ends with that she is getting the feedback that people really do like to learn from other teachers. And so far, that has been pretty powerful and something that we're pretty excited about. So, that's it. Any questions?
That was
Thank
awesome.
you. I
Great
appreciate
job.
your time.
Yeah, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you. Very quickly, can I just?
Sure, go right
Can I
ahead.
just say thank you, because I think out of everybody in the district, you've probably had like one of the worst 2-year stretches in everything that's happening. We knew and we heard all about how you were so key to being able to adjust on the fly as things went along throughout the last 2 years. So while we have you here, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It does not go unnoticed.
Oh, well, thank you.
I would like to clone her. Over and over and over. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let's move on to the informational. Dr. Martin.
Okay, so update. So the Smart with Money Fair at the high school took place last week. It was hosted by McNamara Financial. About 275 kids participated. Great feedback. They were all so positive. So that was great. Cutting for Patients was last weekend. All proceeds went to the Jimmy Fund, so big thank you to those who helped volunteer, support it, sponsor, set up, clean up. I know I went, you said you went, Lara,
Yeah.
so it was a lot of fun. Last 2 weeks, athletics started spring sports, so they began their practices in their, all the teams did. So official games actually started this week. Girls lacrosse started last Saturday. Unfortunately, they lost to Norwell, but they put up a good fight. So, and then Billy Battis wanted to just let everybody know that there's almost 400 student athletes participating just in the spring
Wow.
season. So
That's
it's,
awesome.
yeah, great turnout.
It's a third of the high school. That's incredible.
Yeah. So, other things, the high school spring concerts are tomorrow and Thursday, beginning at 7:30. So, it's just so great to have live performances again. Ms. Campbell and I went to Martinson recently for grade 2, and it was just this amazing feeling that we just haven't had in a while. So, please, anybody who's watching, just come on out and support our musicians. And then mark your calendars for Tuesday, April 12th. It's our K-12 Art and Tech Fair from 6 to 8 in the auditorium at the high school. Again, we haven't done it in 2 years, so it's back after 2 years. It's one of our favorite nights of the year because everyone in the district is showcased. So it's just a great experience. Let's see, Rennie Center. So Mrs. Scalaro and I recently met with Chad from the Rennie Center. They are choosing 6 districts in the Commonwealth to look at some of our data around mental health and academics and try and bridge whatever gaps we have, look at evidence-based practices, recommend some things that we might want to look at or structures. So they're going to be coming in May to look at the data, but then do some staff interviews and just kind of get all that data together and give us some suggestions, and it's free. So we were lucky. They also partner with Wheelock College. They partner with the Annenberg Institute out of Brown. So we're looking forward to that and seeing what comes out of that. Let's see. Last Wednesday, our middle and high school staff had Dr. Khalees Warnham again, who talked about implicit bias and really focusing on the language that we use. 95% of our staff felt it was a really good use of their time. And that's a huge,
That's high.
that's a huge number.
I actually heard that was a really great presentation.
Yes, the leadership team just had her this morning, and elementary will have her in May.
Nice.
Katie Novak worked with elementary last week on, Amy showed you some Would You Rather and UDL. Again, 85% of the staff felt that it was a really good use of their time to work with her. Mirko Chardon, also from Novak Consulting, worked with the curriculum leadership team and innovation specialist last week on UBL. Let's see, I know I have a laundry list. Open SciEd grant, we talked about that last time. We did get approved for the grant, so that's close to $60,000 in funding for all of that professional development and resources. So we have, on April 26th, we have our champion team going into Boston to do our kind of this kickoff for the new cohort of Open SciEd teachers, so that's exciting. Elementary had a site visit to Carver to see one of our finalist math programs in action. We are working on a site visit for the other math program as well. We hosted a TLA coaching session for our South Shore reading specialists, so beyond Marshfield, we had other districts come in and work with our reading specialists are able to work with other reading specialists across the kind of the South Shore, so that was great experience. Last Thursday, our Beginning Teacher Institute, there were about 40 participants from our new staff and mentors and proteges, and they had 4 different choices. Erica Barrett helped with licensure, Mrs. Scolaro helped with special education, Mrs. McAlpine again worked with Linda Herstack around student engagement, classroom management, and so they had a choice and they were able to participate in 3 out of 4 sessions, so that was great. And I think that's finally it, I think. I hope I'm not forgetting.
That's great. Thank you so much. Did you guys have any questions?
Nope.
No. Mr. Greer, do you have any questions? No. Okay, great. So, Mr. Miller. Informational?
No, you don't have anything. No.
Sorry.
You're a
No. Making sure you pay attention.
One quick thing.
Sure.
So at our meeting before town meeting, I know a couple of you guys will probably be busy for a little bit. But the reason why my 2 agenda items are on here is to try to clear that deck.
Okay.
But I just learned today that Mr. Kuther, Mr. Aruka from the high school, and Mr. Battis, they are putting together a proposal to bring to the committee on fundraising for an upgrade of the scoreboard in the stadium. It's a pretty significant fundraising effort, and they have a lot of ideas. I told Mr. Kuther today to put that all in a nice package that can be given to the committee prior to that meeting, so you get all that information. So they're going to be looking for your approval, and they want to get started as soon as they can. So they don't really want to wait till May. So as long as we get all that information provided to you, then we could potentially you guys will be asked for a quick vote of approval on that. At that quick meeting before town meeting, so we'll probably do it about 6:58 before we go in. So I just want to let you know that will be coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Great, thank you. Any subcommittee reports? No. Mr. Greer? No. Okay. Public participation. Any members of the public here would like to say anything? Seeing none, I am closing public participation. Okay, let's move down to the old business here, the FY23 operating budget.
Yep, I will just scan my show screen real quick. Let's see. There we go. So this is hopefully a rescinding of the budget that was voted back in January, budget hearing of just over 54.8 million. The budget on the town meeting warrant is $54,154,310. In your packets, this is going to be, I'm not going to be able to show that up on the screen, but in your packet is the quick budget summary, along with a unprioritized, kind of of the draft financial plan. It's up there, but it's in your packet. We met with the budget subcommittee, Mr. Grantino, just before he left, to re-look at this financial plan and maneuvered some of the items. I'm not going to go into detail. We've gone into detail on this several times. Right now, the one thing that we are looking to move forward in our budget at this time is the addition of the music teacher at the middle school and high school. Technically at the middle school to free up those high school teachers to teach fully at the high school. It'll allow the high school to offer more music alternatives and choices in their programming, and will also allow the middle school to allow for more electives for students rather than study halls, which has become an issue over the past couple of years since we've done this, since we brought some of the high school students down, high school teachers down to the middle school. So that one position is what we are proposing to move forward at this time. The draft budget is the same as it has been all the way through the process. We're kind of in a holding pattern with our negotiations, especially with our teaching unit. As you know, the ESP contract was settled, which is a great thing. So we're partially there. When we hopefully negotiate with the teachers, come to a settlement, we can look at what the cost of that is going to be, and then we could potentially make more adjustments for FY23. So this piece hasn't changed. So the number right now is 154,310. That's what's in the town meeting warrant. The one last item that was in your packet, and it was just updated yesterday. I re-updated it after Dr. Martin and myself. We met with Mr. Drow from Martinson, and we're going to meet with the full elementary team to look at the elementary enrollment across the board. There's some decisions that need to be made. We'll probably wait for Mr. Grantino to come back to fully implement anything that we do. But this enrollment is constantly changing. I think the first draft you had 5 less positions, K to 5. That was primarily in kindergarten. Our kindergarten was under 200. It is now up to 256. So we had a real campaign to get kindergarten registrations in, and they came in over the 2-week period, so we're back to where we should be. And there's a number of other, our numbers are still changing, our current numbers, K to 5, are changing throughout the year. So this is updated as of April 1. There's still a number of classes we're still looking at that we're going to have to decide on. I don't want to get too in-depth in this right now, but we'll be looking at this as a leadership team along with all the principals to make some decisions on how we move forward. We do have 5 retirements at the elementary level, the elementary teachers, and that's typically a good time. We do have the ability to, there's Ms. Sutter's back there. She knows she's losing 2 classrooms because of the class size at Governor Winslow. And she happens to have 2 retirements, so that's an easy, relatively easy. She makes it work all the time. Thank you, Mrs. Hubbard. So I just wanted to mention that because this is really another piece, another component on how potentially we could add things off of the financial plan, but we can't bring it just yet. So really to this evening, so we don't have to do it at 6:30 prior to special annual town meeting. The vote from the committee tonight would be to rescind the vote from January of 54,830,441 vote, and then vote the FY23 town education budget of 54,154,310.
I had a quick question.
Yeah,
Sure,
yes.
Any sort of wiggle room or consideration to get some new microphones for us?
Oh, yes, we're working on it.
Okay, good. So
Mr.
that would
Hawthorne is on it.
Okay, so that would be...
And he's actually
included
looking
in-
for, believe it or not, this system was very expensive.
Yeah,
Mr. Cawthorne believes that he can get a more useful system at a significantly less cost than the original system that was put in.
awesome.
So, this came through the building project
Right.
for this building. It was I don't know right offhand how much it was, but it was very significant. Like the microphones that aren't working are very costly. We've had to replace them a few times. So we're definitely.
Okay. I know it's like by far the least important thing that we've talked about, but it's timely.
Yes. Yes. I think we all agree.
And then I have a motion.
I just would like to ask Mr. Greer if he has any questions.
No, the only thing I think I brought up last meeting, before we spend, I would like the committee to approve each spend on the financial plan.
Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so I brought this up last meeting. So on your financial plan, right, I'm okay approving it in concept, but I would like the committee to review and approve each line item before we spend it.
Okay, yeah, that's yes. So actually, I didn't change this draft right now, but as of right now, the only item, if I were to have edited that document, it would have the music teacher for FY23, and all the other items would be moved to 24 and beyond. But as we move through this process, and we get closer, if we do move anything, we will certainly bring it to the committee. So, I mean, I would say if at approving the budgeted number is an approval of the music teacher staffing, but that does not approve anything else that's on that document at this time.
Okay, so in the motion, it'll include the increased headcount for music, right?
Yes, if you want to include that in motion, certainly.
Right, and just to Mr. Greer, if I could, Madam Chair.
Sure.
That is typically how it works anyway, where the financial plan is not set in stone. It's constantly evolving. Mr. Miller constantly working on it. So when something is approved, it's always just like this. It gets approved in the final budget. So I see what you're saying, Mr. Greer, but I don't think it's a situation where we're going to approve it now and then all of a sudden in December, Mr. Miller's going to automatically just say, oh, they voted for the budget priorities 6 months ago. We might as well just do it without asking.
I get it. I've been through it a couple times. Yeah, it's just clarification on my position.
Okay. Motion, when you're ready.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just a little bit confused. Excuse my lack of institutional knowledge here, but is that what typically happens? Because all these things don't happen at one time. So you're going to come back and ask us after we already approved it?
If we had solidified the number
Right.
and everything along with that number,
Yeah.
so if we had all our contracts settled,
Okay.
we would bring forth a document that would have the items that would be moved forward in that budget.
Okay.
We don't have, and in retrospect, I probably for this evening should have moved those documents over and left music teacher just in FY23.
Okay.
That's what we're doing this evening.
Okay.
It's approving the music teacher at Furnace Brook in the budget in that number. That's the only thing that's in addition to what we have currently.
So that list that he has, that grid, that's the financial plan,
Yeah.
that's stuff that he's working on trying to incorporate into the budget and when he anticipates that being done.
No, I understand that. I just don't understand what Mr. Greer's concern is.
I think Mr. Greer is saying that he doesn't want to take a vote tonight to approve something for the FY24 budget when we're only voting on the FY23.
Okay,
So he just
all
wanted to
right.
clarify. Mr. Greer,
Is that
correct me if I'm
right?
wrong.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm getting at, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All
All
the
right.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
So there's nothing binding for the FY24 budget being voted on tonight.
Got it. Okay, great. Okay, so the motion is going to
The
be,
motion is to rescind the previously voted budget of $54,830,441.
Yeah, and which was approved in January.
Right, okay.
Vote in its place to approve the FY23 town education budget of $54,154,310.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 And Mr. Greer is abstaining.
Yes, okay, perfect. Awesome, thank you. What was that?
I voted yes. I didn't. Sometimes it's a video delay, so I didn't know where you got me in that.
Oh, okay, great, yes, we got it, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to South Shore Regional School District Townwide Warrant Article.
Yeah, this is just a quick update on where we are in the process. The warrant article is Article 2 in the special town meeting. There's a full explanation there, along with the language that went in the actual article. This ended up actually being a non-binding article. It's really, in talking with Mr. Grantino and Superintendent Hickey, this is really just a non-binding testing of town meeting's will. What will happen is, we got an email from Superintendent Hickey yesterday. His board, his team are meeting over the next week or two, and are putting together a proposal based upon some of the items that the committee had looked at.
Okay.
That proposal will come back to our South Shore Boat Tech Committee, which is Ms. Brait and members of the town side as well, municipal side. We will take a look at that and then put together a proposed agreement, but both sides will agree. That proposed agreement is what we don't have at this point, which is why this is not binding. Once we have that agreement, it will come back to special town meeting in October in Marshfield, as well as the other communities, the other 8 communities. We need 6 out of 8, 75% to approve. There's a potential chance that a couple of those towns might not have a special town meeting in the fall, but we're still going to move forward. If we get 6 out of 6 and 2 don't have a town meeting in October, we're still good.
Mm-hmm.
So we're communicating with South Shore Regional, and everything's good at this point. But the real crux of the update is just that the warrant article is in place. The explanation is there. It doesn't say so here, but I guess the committee really doesn't technically have to approve this, but you can certainly feel free to approve. But we never officially had your vote to put this on the town meeting warrant,
Okay.
which is typically what we do. So it would be good to support the warrant article officially.
Okay.
In the
All right.
Tom, do you know at town meeting what percentage, like is it a 2/3 vote, is it a majority vote?
It's a majority vote.
Okay.
Majority vote at all across the
Okay.
board, yes. And again, this, if for some reason, I mean, I haven't met a single person that's against this. It's great for our students, it's great for, South Shore Regional at this point has indicated that they are welcoming us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody on our committee is really excited to get this in place. But if for some reason this didn't pass, it doesn't really mean anything at this time.
Okay.
So it'll come back in the fall.
Thank you.
So motion to approve the article to be presented at special town meeting.
So, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And there's Mr. Greer too. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Student Opportunity Act Plan.
Right. This is really just informational. Last year, early 2021, we had to submit our original Student Opportunity Act. It's kind of typical, like similar to a grant, except we have to use funding we already have. It's not additional monies. We focused on foundational literacy in K-2 with an emphasis on our high needs students. So we talked about our reading specialists, our assessments, our writing, our foundations. And so now they wanted us to submit an amendment, just focusing on this school year. Has anything changed? Is anything added? So the amendment has been submitted, and we kept the same focus on foundational literacy and high needs students. This time they did ask for the funding source, which they didn't last time. So we are including everything that we already have, but also when we look at our literacy data at elementary, especially in the primary grades, we also added more Lexia learning licenses. So Lexia is a literacy program. We added more reading materials. We got training on the science of reading. We got the Haggerty assessment in kindergarten. So those are all things that we have done since we originally submitted. So I added those to the grant. They asked about our progress toward coaching, our progress toward materials for assessments, tiered supporting. They asked a lot of where are you with all of this. And then they asked for next steps. So included in that, we are purchasing decodable text sets for all of our K-2 classrooms and our special education teachers. We are doing a needs assessment with TLA, who has worked with us for the last 5 years on our literacy programming. So they're coming back in May to do a needs assessment. We are going to be looking at literacy programs next year for elementary. We currently have Journeys, and it's just not a robust program. It's not a good fit. So we will be looking at materials starting next year for possible implementation in the fall of 2023. So all of that, they just want to make sure that we presented this information to the school committee. They didn't say you had to approve it, anything like that. It was just more informational.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? No. Mr. Greer, do you have any questions? No?
Nope.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to skip over this school choice because we didn't have any comments,
Well,
correct?
you still have to take
We still have to take on this one right here?
it on school choice. Yeah, that's a yearly vote.
Okay,
Chair.
all right. Go ahead, Mr. Costello.
Yeah, so just as a quick informational point too, it's a yearly vote, but in recent memory, the district has not voted to be a school choice district. But still, motions must be made in the affirmative if it confuses anybody at home or in the audience watching. So I'll make a motion to make Marshfield Public Schools a school choice district.
So moved.
Well, so I made the motion, if you need me
second.
to second it.
All in favor? All opposed?
No.
Mr. Greer?
What?
Are you opposed or, I'm sorry, are you opposed or in favor of school choice?
No to school choice.
Thank you. Did you get that, Mrs. Pizarski?
I did.
Okay, great. All set? Great. All right, it looks like we have the cafeteria workers.
Yes, so this is, we have been collecting interest in authorization cards from our cafeteria, what currently is our Cafeteria Workers Association. We received word from AFSCME, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, that there was interest to unionize. We have collected over 50% of the members of the association, 52%. 14 of 27 have returned those authorization cards, and at that 50% threshold, it now must go to the committee to initiate negotiations with their newly formed unit. So that's the crux of it. We certainly, our custodial unit is in the same ASME unit, and we look forward to negotiating with them as a union as we see fit. There will be a motion.
Yeah, sure. There's a motion to accept the cafeteria workers' request as members, or to recognize the cafeteria workers as members of the AFSCME Council 93 and open negotiations with them in the near future.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. Yep, you got Mr. Greer. Yes. Okay, perfect. It looks like we have a set of minutes for March 22nd. They need to be reviewed. Let's take a quick minute. Can you guys just let me know when you're all set with that, please? Good? Okay. All set?
I'm good, this is great.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Greer, are you still reviewing?
Say that again?
Are you still reviewing the minutes?
No, I'm good. I'm ready to vote.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay. So motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 22nd, 2022.
So moved.
All in favor? Great. Looks like we are all done here. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, Mrs. Pazerski?
Mrs. Stetson?
Yes.
Mr. Costello?
Yes.
Mrs. Brady?
Yes.
Mr. Greer?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, everybody.